Hello there. My name is Kim Rikalo. I am the manager of our residential and assistance delivery group for SMUD, or Sacramento Municipal Utility District. We're a very small area or subset of California. But my focus is mostly, I have a few residential programs, but mostly on the assistance side of it, which for this conversation, is more about our low to middle income customers and finding them appropriate assistance. We offer a low-income discount program for those customers at 200% of federal poverty level or less. We also offer a medical equipment discount program. We work very closely with our community-based organizations to make sure that LIHEAP, or the Home Energy Assistance Program, is applied to the customer's bill quickly. We actually have a portal so that we're able to do that pretty much instantaneously for customers, which obviously makes it much easier for them. I also have a team that goes out of energy specialists and a supervisor that focuses on going out and doing great work in our community for these customers. You know, the discount program is kind of the conduit to get them into what we call our energy saving bundles, where we can do anything from education about ways to save on your bill, and we actually provide bundles of things like smart strips, LED bulbs, fans that help make it feel cooler in the home for those that are renters. And then for homeowners, we actually will go in and do some energy efficiency improvements, up to including now electrification as part of our bundles, if you will, in our strive to go to our clean energy vision by 2030. We're still seeing, I think state of Sacramento is what Mike called it. You know, we're in a bad situation, in my opinion. I mean, inflation is bad across the country, but Sacramento is one of the 10 worst cities nationwide for the amount of income spent on housing, which of course, if they can't afford housing, they can't afford utility. 78,000 low-income Sacramentans can't find an affordable home to rent. Reports still are showing. We're at the top of the least affordable new home market in the US. So it's still a bad place. And specifically at SMUD, again, just in Sacramento, you know, we're still looking at $50 million of arrearages, and 27% of that is who we define as our low income customers. So the LIHEAP program is still critical to that, and any other assistance that we can help point customers to.
And you're making a personal choice to invest your time and capacity in helping build and sustain and grow the organization. So that is a choice that you're making as a professional, as a human being, because we all know that you and your colleagues have a lot on your plate. So could you just reflect a little bit about like your role, speak a little bit about your role inside Neuac? So what it means to be, you know, sort of on the executive committee, or kind of what your leadership role is, and why you think it's important for you to find the time to actually dedicate to that service.
It's always about getting people connected with all those programs and information that can help them in their own organizations, with HEAP, with energy efficiency, with low income stuff. You know, the connections are the key in my opinion, right? I have learned so much since I've been involved with Neuac, and even more so now that once I moved to the board, and now I'm currently on the executive board and the governing board. But the connections with, and I would say the utilities, the community base, the whole gamut of people that are servicing the same customer base. We're all trying to help those underserved customers or vulnerable customers. And so hearing the different ways that they're approaching, the different rules that they're having to abide by, really helps trigger ideas and things for myself and my team to work on and get connected with. Sometimes, you know, oftentimes I should say, at those conferences or in those meetings, I'll learn about a new connection that I didn't know about before. And I'm like, how is this possible? I've been doing this work since 2015. How do I still not know that organization or that area that can be a benefit for my customers in my particular area? So it just, the knowledge sharing and information there, and the support that you can get even on the Neuac, you can just pose a question, and then people will respond back. Like, we'll get questions to say, hey, utility partners or community-based organization or nonprofits, hey, we've got this question out there, and everybody chimes in on what they're doing or what their program's like or anything like that. I probably come away from just the Neuac conference with probably 5 to 10 meetings after the conference. I do a lot of socializing and networking when I'm there, but then we set up after that to connect in a deeper level even after that.
Obviously, we know that part of the power of the conference is the geographic range. And you reference the different types of, you've got this whole collection of the entire sector coming together. What are the types of organizations that are the types of stakeholders that are represented at the conference? And how is that different from maybe a more discrete sort of utility conference or another sort of gathering?
I just attended CS Week just last week, and it was a great conference. But the number of sessions that I was able to attend that were directly related to the work that I do in the assistant space versus when I'm going to a Neuac conference and trying to figure out, okay, well, which one do I really want to go to both? How do I decide which one to go? In fact, I'll bring additional team members so we can divide and conquer, because there's so much relevant information from a nonprofit perspective, from a LIHEAP administrator perspective, to actually even anybody that just deals in energy efficiency, and then from a utility perspective. I think you're hitting all of the buttons in this space. And I think I mentioned it earlier, because we're all focused on that assistance or low income space, vulnerable customers, however you want to describe it, all of the content's relevant. Some more than others. We even have for first timers, there's like LIHEAP 101. If you don't know that much about LIHEAP and how it works and how it's a benefit to whether you're a nonprofit or a utility or a community-based organization, you can go to that session and learn on that. We have a special session for tribal leaders and the tribes, because there's a little bit difference and a nuance there. There's stuff that's focused at the utility. So those are some of the ones I attend, but I attend the others too to learn from them. So I just think there's a great interconnection of sessions that address all of what we're trying to accomplish.
You described this very well. And part of what I take away from your description and my experience with the conference is that you've got like high level expertise, but then also when you walk in off the street, or new to the sector or new to the conference, often it can feel very overwhelming in any event and any conference, because like, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know anybody. I don't know how to fit in. And, when the conference, when as, earlier iterations of the conference is 150 people, is one thing to navigate that in 2004, but, now you're talking hundreds and hundreds of people at these big hotels spread out all over the town. So if you could speak to, again, the experience of someone coming for the first time, maybe don't have networks yet, maybe don't know people yet, maybe don't know the issues that well. What are some sort of tips or advice you would give them to kind of welcome them into the community?
So if you're brand new to this conference and don't know where to start, I would say definitely don't be afraid to ask questions. We have a registration desk. There's typically lots of folks walking around that have been part of the board or not been part of the board or involved. Certainly reach out to me. I'll be at the conference this year. But Katrina Metzler, our executive director, she's always front and center. They try to do a good job of introducing you, but yeah, reach out to the person next to you and talk to them and start looking and asking questions. That networking opportunity is huge here. So don't be afraid to ask questions. This is a really great group that is warm and welcoming, and everybody's there to help each other. I don't feel like you're ever on an island, so to speak. The poverty simulation. If they haven't had an opportunity to attend the poverty simulation was life-changing for me and my team. You think you know this customer base, and then when you go through that poverty simulation and you get to experience, even though it's all kind of scripted, you get to experience that stress. It really makes you have a different understanding, a different feeling for this customer base, and sometimes just one choice, maybe they thought they were making the right choice, can really impact them negatively. And so that's one. I've told my team, I said, I know some of you've gone, but go again because you need a refresher on. I'm going again. And I told even the director that I report to is going to be at this conference. And I said, you need to go to the poverty simulation. If you didn't make this conference and you want to make the next one, we'll be in Chicago in June. The other thing is I would suggest get signed up for Neuac, learn about Neuac now, become a member now. There's so many benefits that can help you. And we typically are scheduling our conferences all across the US to try and give folks that make it easy for them. So this year it's out in the West, next year not in Chicago. So come join us.